Hello and welcome to another Modern Toy Fair review. Today I am taking a look at the Mafex number 185 Classic Costume Spider-Man. As always, make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see all the photos I took of this figure, and of course let me know in the comments below if you've picked this up or if you're waiting on your pre-order or if you are still on the fence. But that's enough chitter chatter, let's go ahead and get at her. Alright, let's take a look at how Spidey turned out. So this is a repaint. One thing I do want to point out is the shoulders right out of the bat were backwards, so I did have to go through and heat them up, pop them off, and switch them. And same thing with down here at the hip joint, the little inner piece was crooked, so I had to heat that up, and that was a pain in the ass to try to switch around, but I did fix it. So right out of the box, already having some issues. And then as kind of time went on, it unraveled from there. So you've got, same head we've gotten before with the big eyes, the McFarlane style. I do really like it. I am a fan of that look for Spidey. But then you get to the black webs throughout the suit, and you can see it's pretty messy with the wash they put over. Look at those giant dark spots. This figure feels very rushed so far. I mean, it doesn't even end there. As you go down, don't get me wrong, it looks fantastic with the brighter red and the blue. But then even there on his left pec, you've got a spot, and on his abs, you've got that big belly button spot there. It's just, the paint is really sloppy. And on the arm, you can even see where the blue is going into the red there. But it's still, oh, that blue though, it looks so good. Man, I'm having a hard time not enjoying this figure just because aesthetically it just looks incredible. It's the same sculpt we've gotten before, so I knew I was getting in there, and I like that sculpt. But just the color scheme is so perfect. I just wish the execution would have been better. That big spider on the back and red against that blue looks fantastic. You've got the Spidey booty there. You got going back down the legs and down to the feet. So yeah, outside of some paint app issues, a whole lot of paint app issues, I'm really happy with how he turned out. Alright, on to some articulation. So we're going to pop the head off here because you do have that little bent peg in there. I'm going to spin that around just because I like to have it so he can tilt his head further back since it is Spider-Man. There we go, tons of back, still tons of forward because you do have both the top and bottom of the neck articulation. Bunch of tilt, spins all the way around, and then getting down to the arms. They do go way past 90. You got all sorts of rotation at the shoulder, and it goes all the way around, like so. And then you have the bicep swivel, double joint elbows, and of course the wrist, if I can figure out which way it goes so I don't break it. There we go. And forward and back, and spins all around. As far as abdomen, you do have, again, those two spots at the top and mid section. So you get tons of twists and turns and bends forward and backwards. Legs go forward about past 90. Does have that, pull down hip joint. Goes out to just under 90 to the side. Does not go very far back. You get double joint knees. You do have the hip little twist there. And ankle pivot in every which direction. So we've again, this is a repaint. We've seen this Spider-Man before, and we know that he can definitely pose into any Spider-Man pose he needs to. Next up, we have some accessories. So we do get one extra head. This is the kind of angry eyes head. You can see not quite as messy up top, a little bit there. Do get a pair of web holding hands. You can see a little hole there and there. We got a pair of fists. Switch those around. A pair of flipping hands, as always. And a pair of wall crawling hands. Pair of magnetic wall crawling hands. Pair of magnetic feet. A long web effect, which this is the one that you can hold in the holding hands. So if we pull this over here, just kind of slides in like so. And then we have you get two of these small thwipping effects. Goes around the wrist peg. You get two of the longer thwipping effects. And this one I'll actually show you. You just kind of put it over the wrist peg there and slide that on. I do wish they'd make that red at around the wrist so it blended in better, but I can do that myself. And then you have this like fancy effect, which always confused me because it has that little hole there, and I always assume it's for this piece because it does go in there. But I honestly don't know. So if you know, let me know in the comments below because I'm clueless. And of course, the Mafex stand. Now, one thing that was excluded from this was the Peter Parker head. And you're probably wondering, does the set number 75 head fit? It does. It's not an exact match for the red, but it is passable. Also, it is very, very much so a tight fit to get the head off, or the neck off, which is surprising considering it's a repaint. Alright, size comparison time. So here we have him with the Mafex Black Suit Spidey. He is a little bit taller by just a smidgen. Here he is with Mafex Venom. Again, Venom is a little bit bigger. And then we have my custom Rebirth Batman from Mafex, which is bigger than almost all of them if you count his ears. Let's get these guys out of here. We'll bring in Desert Rat from Action Force, the Marvel Legends Scorpion, and Marvel Legends Cell Shaded Spidey. Cell Shaded Spidey is surprisingly shorter. And Scorpion actually scales really well with him, but it's because he's a little bit too short in the actual line he's from, which is funny. And then you have Desert Rat over here, who he's a little bit taller than him, but I think that's fine because I always see Spider-Man as a little smaller framed guy anyway. So let's get these all out of the way. Bring back Old Faithful here with Jon Favreau from the Marvel Legends line and the G.I. Joe Classified Pimp Danny Destro. Both are a lot taller than him just because, you know, they're from a slightly bigger scaled line. And then we've got the big beefy boy himself, the Build-A-Figure Armadillo, who he just looks massive compared to the Mafex Spidey. And last up is the box art. You'll notice this is a lot smaller than what we're used to. We still have, you know, figure at the bottom, all the logos. We've got the little picture at the top with the number. Inside, you do have that really cool city artwork, which if you want, you can tear the box apart and use as a backdrop. If we spin it around to the side, you've got the Spidey figure with some of the Spidey logos. Other side, another picture of him and the Spider-Man logo. Bottom, all the warnings, the, you know, ages 15 and up because this is for adults. And top, you've got more logos with that red and blue. And spin around the back, you've got all the different poses, accessories, what have you. Big old thwip there. Marvel logo, Mafex logo, number 185. Yeah, not a fan of the smaller boxes, not gonna lie. Alright, so overall, it's kind of bittersweet. I know a lot of people throw this around, but to me, this is the definitive Spider-Man figure. Like, the iconic colors, the look of him. I love Mafex and how it's, you know, how posable it is and everything as well. I also like that he's not too bulky, which I think is a big problem with the Marvel Legends Spider-Mans, in my opinion. But then you have to deal with the fact that this figure feels very rushed. It feels like they wanted to get this out before the end of the year, so they kind of just sloppily did this repaint, which is surprising because you think it wouldn't have been much effort considering it's 100% reuse. There's nothing on this figure that is new to my knowledge. It's just a new paint job. And we just had the reissue of the original version of the number 75 Spider-Man. So the fact that this one was so difficult to get out is kind of surprising to me. But the more and more I look at it, you know, I showed you the dark marks throughout the webbing where it was sloppy. And then I started getting a closer look when I was taking pictures, which you'll see here in a moment. And the line work from like the red to the blue is really sloppy in a lot of areas. So I'm probably gonna try to hunt down another one to see if I can get a better paint job, but we'll have to wait and see if I have any luck with that. I still really like the figure. I think they did a fantastic job in general. I just, you know, mine happened to get real sloppy. So as far as the paint apps go, let me know in the comments below, you know, if you have this figure, do you have the same paint app issues? Is your line work from the red to the blue sloppy? Do you have issues with like dark spots where they overdid it with the wash for the webbing throughout the costume, stuff like that? And of course, let me know as well what your thoughts on the figure are. If you love it, if it's your Spider-Man, like your definitive Spider-Man figure, or if you're kind of a little standoffish with it. Also, if you enjoy the photos you're about to see here at the end of the video, make sure to check back tomorrow for our Tuesday episode of Let's Pose, where I'm going to show you how to pose this figure. And I'm going to try to hit some different poses that I haven't done in previous episodes, while still doing some just to kind of test the waters and see what he can do. But as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want more toy related content on your feed, make sure to like and subscribe. You have our weekly reviews, our Let's Pose videos, the recap of our live stream, and the podcast every week. So if you want more of that, make sure to subscribe and tune in each week for all of the content that we provide. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok if you want a better look at the photos you're about to see. But that's going to be it for this week. Hopefully see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.